back to the Pulver report. Let's get started. We had non-farm payroll this morning. I'm also looking at the currency strength chart, so let's dive into everything. Risk disclaimer: we understand risk in trading. Please always use trade capital only. Do not trade with money you cannot afford to lose. Whether you trade stocks, options, futures, forex, cryptos, whatever asset class it is, you know the deal. So we had FOMC. May the 4th be with you. Non-farm payroll. CAD news. Good stuff. Let's get into the charts. How's everybody doing today? Jump in, say hi. Nice to see everybody. 409.41 opening bell. So we have a little gap higher on the SPY, little gap higher in the Qs. The DIA has been taking it pretty aggressively to the downside today. Again, we're gapping back up. This is pretty noticeable considering we closed yesterday, opened today. There's certainly a gap there that could easily be filled. Not a lot of direction despite the Fed this week. So non-farm payroll, let's see what the numbers were. I was on the basketball court. We had Swiss CPI came in. Oh, I like that because I did notice the Swiss franc was super weak, and it's about flipping time. Holy crikey. So that's nice that CPI is back down to 0. Maybe that means that there's going to be a pause in the Swiss National Bank tightening cycle. Rachel Tormos, if you're watching, maybe that's a good thing for the Swiss. I certainly know that price action wise, that's exactly what I've been looking for and wanting to see. So it is nice. I probably, if I open up my accounts, I probably have a pretty big swing P&L wise in my favor. Just for fun, I'm going to see what I'm talking about. So let me log into my MetaTrader 4 on my phone. And yes, indeed, I've had a massive swing in my favor. So let's go Swiss franc. Let's see. So CAD is up today. Aussie's up today, pound dollar. Anyway, big story really is just the outstanding Swiss to the downside. I'm loving it. Let's have a look at everything. Let me get logged into YouTube and say hi to the peeps in the room. And shout out to A1 Trading from Wednesday's FOMC. That was fun to work with Nick and Frank. I think Ivan. Those are the three. But all good. Log in here.
Hyundai Santa Fe versus
Hang on
Subaru.
Robert, first in the room. Nice to see you. Gary's here, Katrina's here, Reggie here, Matthew, and good morning, good morning, good morning. Nice to see everybody. Happy Friday, traders. Happy Friday. All right, that's the Swiss franc. Let's go into the currencies. I want to take a look at that Swiss CTRA above sell put level. CTRA. Chart alarm going off. That's back up. Good. That's an energy play that we've had some credit spreads in. Let's take a look at the Mang stocks. Meta is pulling back into the gap. Apple is gapping higher, 172. Very interesting. We do have some fills on Apple. We have some straddles, I believe. And Amazon's still kind of stuck. Netflix still pretty sideways, looking for a breakout above 340 or below 320. And Google still sideways here, above 110 or below 100. Tesla, we had full profit on this one here below 175. Coinbase gapping up, we're back up to 56, but got in some pretty scary territory here below $50. Okay, so let's see what the market's willing to give us today. Let's see how big some of those Swiss franc movements are. Aussie Swiss certainly looking way better today. Didn't break the fresh lows for the week. I think the CAD Swiss did. The Aussie Swiss did not. So we're going to see if the Aussie Swiss can spend some time on the right-hand side of the trend line. The CAD Swiss, which I know a lot of position traders have been with me on this one. We've been long since the lows here on 67. We leveled in 68, 67, 66. So we're going to see if we can get some legs on this one. Swiss yen to the downside. We're looking for some master flex alignments. Take out this low around 149.10. If we do that, hopefully we're putting in a bit of a top right here. So if we take out this low, take out this level, pull back and fall, there's room to fall all the way back down. Resistance up here, a little noisy high, come all the way back down to this low. If this is a double top, I'm just getting traders ready for this. If we are accurate and seeing this being a high and this comes back down to the lows, if this is a double top, we're breaking and going all the way down. So, looking for some activity here is a good spot to be Swiss yen short. Again, I mean, if we're wrong, we get stopped out. But if we're right, there's a lot of profit potential to the downside. Euro Swiss. to 98.33. We held those levels. We didn't touch the 9,700 support, but we need to still break this structure. Let me put a trend line on this right here. We need to see if we can break that trend line to the upside. FK, good morning. Robert, good morning. Chris, good morning. Edward, good morning. David, what's happening? Peter, good morning. Pound Swiss. Pound Swiss to 1258, back up towards this 200 EMA. This is one pretty big milestone if we can break it. If we break that 200 EMA back to the highs, I'm also looking at, this low to high, little consolidation. Even if we ran up to a 1.8 extension, 1.18 extension, which I have here. Let me see something. If we did this, if that's actually a swing right there, then we get up towards 118 to 119. That's our first real swing, and we would finish that move even if we had a 618 extension. That's a 30%. That'd get us up to 1990. So I'm still looking at roughly 1.20 to the upside on pound Swiss. New Zealand Swiss, nicely off the lows. We saw some, divergence between price and momentum on the higher time frames. I'd like to see hopefully some breaking of the trend line on the Swiss franc, get back up to these levels. And again, this might just be the CPI reading to say that there's going to be a pause in the rate hike cycle for Swiss National Bank. If that's the case, awesome. Stop raising rates. And then we have the carry trade coming in full effect through the summer, perhaps. So I would like to see if there's some continuation here. It's obviously encouraging for today, but I'd like to see a lot more of it. Position-wise, I mean, Swiss franc basket to me technically is one of the better trades. Plus, we have some positive swap, but it's going to take probably a little effort on the Swiss National Bank's part to intentionally weaken their currency pair and see where these things flow. All right, that's New Zealand Swiss, and then dollar Swiss. Dollar Swiss off the lows. We had some fresh lows this week around 88.20. We had a lot of noise this week with FOMC and non-farm. We're going to see if we can carve out this level. I talked to traders this week in the trading rooms. If we carve out these lows, I'm looking for the dollar Swiss to make its way back up to this high. That would be an excellent bullish pattern and come back and finish this move back into either 1.00, 1.02, or at the very least, let's just find some symmetry in here. If we just work our way, a couple things could happen, right? We could have a falling wedge down here, work our way back up. This could be a bullish pattern. And all I'm looking for is this, 1, 2, 3. If that's right in here, I'm happy. If it's all the way up here, I'm happy, right? But this box, pivot cluster, yearly pivot, previous high, I'm just looking to try to get the right measurements to project profit level so I can add to my profits and protect it at a good spot. That's dollar Swiss. Let's take a look at dollar Sing. Have some exposure on that one. Dollar Sing at 32.70, just hanging tough there. We had some credit spreads this week in equities on demand. This one might be a loss, 39.50 by 39. If that's a loss, no big deal, 25 cents. The other one, AMD, we had an 89 by 88. Big spike yesterday all the way up to 91. We had earnings this week at AMD, and they were positive. We had a lot of companies with positive earnings, but they didn't reflect that in price. They gapped up. So we're at 85. We have to get a pretty aggressive move today. Let me see if I can get to 89. It was an 89 by 88, I believe. $89. If we hit that level today, then my sell put is in profit. If we don't, then it's a small loss. And then Square or Block Inc. We have a 61 by 60. And I'm going to see if this gets back up to above 61. 61. There we go. And Ford took some extra credit spreads this week. KHC, I added a covered call. We're at 41. If we hit 42, I'm going to continue to roll this higher. KDP, we had some assignment. And we have some credit spreads at the lows, 33 by 32. We have a 32 by 30. That hasn't filled yet, but the 33 by 32 and the 34 by 33s are staggered out through the rest of the year. We have some neutral plays on the SPY. We're looking for price to be, for right now, for the next couple of weeks, I'd like to see price, sell off a little bit. We did test the lows around 402. Anything sub 400 is pretty solid for some bearish momentum to the downside. Our ranges are getting tighter and tighter. As we had some major news that's already released through the month. We kicked off May with FOMC and non-farm payroll. So I'm not sure if the next order of business is going to be all debt ceiling related, if it's going to be all bank related. I think is it B regional bank? KRE is the regional banking. SQ crossing 61. That didn't take long. So big sell off in the regional banks. I think PacWest took one again. That was another bank that's probably on the chopping block, similar to First Republic last week. So we're off the lows, but again, this is why divergence is so amazing. So we had this low, we had this low. You can see this line that connects. There's just a disagreement between price and momentum. So if it quickly comes back and fills the gap, I mean, there might be some short covering here. I would be very careful on some of this bank exposure. In fact, I would, unless you're, taking bear call spreads at it or you've already taken profit from it, I would be really cautious. So, bank stocks we've liked and played the last couple years for a lot of profit. We hit some major support on ONB, but this is not a too big to fill bank. So I just don't want that exposure where if I have, options are one thing, it's lighter exposure. If something happens, we just take the loss on the option trade. But I just don't want to own shares right now, not with banks. So the ones I would be looking at would be the too big to fail. We looked at JP Morgan, which is sideways right now. If we get a breakout above 145 or break below 124, that's also a pretty big range to trade in. Price could go a lot of nowhere. It's about a 13.25% range. Wells Fargo potential broadening pattern. We came back down to lows around 38. So, I just think that there's a lot of potential stress coming in the financial sector. It's already happened, but if there's more stress coming with more, regional bank failures, then I don't care how big the bank is, it's going to be difficult to see something. I think it's going to be tough to get positive traction out of it. So I'm steering clear of the financial sector right now. Still focused on tech. Qs are doing pretty well for the year, but we will see. I've got some bear call spreads in for May and June. If we're right, I just need price to get back down to this low. We start going, a little bit more bearish and corrective to have a movement back into, let's say, 300 or lower. Again, it's kind of all what's going to be the catalyst of the downside. I mean, maybe some CPI data, which we have next Wednesday. So we'll see what happens with the U.S. If the CPI data comes in, as expected at 5%, so non-farm was pretty solid today. Everything was green. CAD employment was solid today. Next week we have CPI on Wednesday. We'll trade that during the flex trading room. We have an RBA rate decision. That was this week. Never mind. They raised rates by 25 basis points. I'm trying to go out to next week. NQ, I'll take a look. Yep. Marta says, I can't see your screen. Marta, you might just want to, I'm watching it on YouTube. Can you log out, log back in, or refresh the browser? My screen is sharing. I'm showing it through my my stream service. I'm showing it on YouTube live. So everyone else is good, right? Traders, can you type in a wire yes if everything's coming through with AV? You can see my screen, hear my voice. Everything's loud and clear. Yes? Okay. So QQQ. Yep, thanks. Either range bounds from roughly 320 to 303. It's about an $18 range. I do have some bear call spreads. We took some stabs at it, but I won't be mad if the market does this and melts up. I won't be mad because we're gonna have a lot of green in our portfolio. If the market is going to be sideways, then we're going to look to manage some of these because these are in the money bear call spreads that we collected, $2.75 to $3 and change out of a $5 spread. So if we collected, 60 cents on the dollar, there's a chance we can get a majority of that profit if we're back down towards the low strike prices. But those are bear call spreads. Okay. I'm trying to think what else we have. I'll take a look at Schwab at the top of the hour when I get into my trading room for equities on demand and see if I have any assignments. I didn't see any emails and notifications come in overnight. So all I've done this week to be protective is I put in some long puts, and they're long dated puts. Stocks I own, I'm trying to get some protection on them and to the upside. If stocks gets called away in the near future, SLV is probably the one that's closest to getting called away. We're at 23.14, and I have a $24 call out to May 19th. So I'll keep rolling that and keep not rolling, but I'll keep adding covered calls if it doesn't get called away, and I'll keep chipping away at that. I also added in a $21 long put with a credit down here towards $4. So if we hit $16 or $17, I'm going to cash in on that long put, lower my cost basis on all the shares, and that brings me down to maybe $13, $14 of cost basis. But overall, I'm still long on silver. Gold GLD is gapping down. This is easier to see it with XAU price. I'll get to NQ in a second. There's a big drop in gold. So is there a big rally in the dollar? Not really, but gold with that heavy resistance right up here, 2070. Um, yeah, I think a lot of retail traders have been long on gold, so it wouldn't be surprised. And I talked about this week in the trading rooms. If this is wave one, two, three, four, five, and this is finished, right? If we have a fifth wave move that's completing itself and this was the top, then we're looking for a one, two, three back down towards this pocket and low. So if we end up carving out a top here on gold, I'm expecting it to come back into the midpoint around 1850, which means if we come back and retest, I think if we come back and retest this high, I'm going to look at some bear call spreads on GLD. If we break and go, then I'll look at some bull put spreads too. I mean, I'm okay being neutral, but I'm going to try to do something slightly in the money, staggered out with time. And if we get paid more in reward than risk. And I don't mind going both directions. If I walk away with, let's say, I have a bull put spread up here and a bear call spread down here, and if I lose one, win one, and I walk away with, let's say, 20 to 30 cents, I'm okay with that because I can take that trade, out over 3 or 4 expirations, maybe make, 80 cents to $1 in credit. So there's ways to play it where we don't have to really pick a direction. We just have to give us a setup, give us some time, and let the trades work out. Okay. All right. NQ, little E-mini Nasdaq futures, very similar to the QQQ. And this is really the same thing I talked about on Monday. I think you asked about this on Monday, right? Those are the big levels I'm watching right now, just intermediately. We break above these highs. That is 13,355. So I'm going to put in 2 horizontal lines here. 1 and 2. And I would just be looking to see if we break. I mean, I think there's room to go up, and I think there's room to go down. Right now, I don't have a direction. So, I mean, if you're trading futures contracts, this is the breakout in my opinion. We got to get price to clear, and then hopefully we have some room to drift and run higher. Otherwise, this is a tough zone to trade. If I'm trading options, I could trade options on the Qs right now. I could do a bear call spread and a bull put spread and try to, keep the expiration nice and tight and see if it stays sideways. Okay. Let's see what's going on here. So 61 on SQ, so that went off. Okay. Day trading, gotcha. Again, I mean, so day trading, I would just look at the futures dashboard, right? If I go market watch dashboard, I mean, we're up. I mean, so today strikes me as a risk on day, right? So risk on short term, I mean, you've got room to the upside. So if we're gapping here and we're green on the day, this has room to run a little bit, probably towards the highs at 13,350 or 13,355. So if we have a decent day and it stays green, then I mean short term I'd be looking for bulls. Looks like we have futures up. Everything's kind of risk on today. Swiss dropping is, like I said, super encouraging, and that's a lot more enjoyable to watch that as far as my P&L. Okay. Libra says looks good. Dollar strength. Well, it's holding so far, right? And again, after the market can kind of digest all the noise and news this week with FOMC and non-farm payroll. I mean, one thing the Fed is going to keep talking about with the news this week on Friday. I mean, they were pretty vanilla on Wednesday. It was exactly what we expected. They raised rates. They didn't talk about cutting rates. I know the CME futures or the CME watch tool is talking about cutting rates as early as September. But having a decent NFP print, unemployment rates down by 0.2%. The thing that keeps popping up here is tighter labor market, right? Tight job market is tough. I mean, average earnings are higher. We haven't seen that for a while. It's been 0.3 pretty much as expected, but we ticked higher there. 253 is a decent print. We had a negative revision from 236 down to 165. Wow, that's a big revision to the downside. But tighter, I mean 3.4%. I mean, I don't know when it's ever been that low. So, granted, there's kind of nuances to this. It doesn't really tell the whole story. If people are not looking for work or have kind of dropped out of the circulation, then it doesn't count. And so there might be people that are just like, yeah, I'm not looking right now. It's jobs that I don't want. So it shows like, oh, less unemployed, right? And then those that are working, higher average earnings because companies are paying more to less people. So just putting that out there where, it doesn't mean that the job market is super awesome, but it's like, I'm sure there's jobs for everybody, you know? And that's the thing now is do you want, is it any job? And then it's better job and then it's career. But just depends. I mean, people have different priorities. Agreed about the Swiss, Chris? Yeah, same here. Nice to see it. So, all right. Any other charts you'd like me to take a look at today? Do I have any new traders that came in? I had any new traders that poked in on Wednesday and caught my session with A1 Trading and Nick Syack. If so, I just want to give a shout out. That was a lot of fun on Wednesday to do a little FOMC and work with Nick. And actually, I love that software, Edge Finder. I'm going to try to get that involved with market traders. I think that'd be fun. I think it'd be awesome to have for some of the courses that I teach, and working on some other stuff as well. So I'm going to check one thing really quickly. I'm going to look and see how my robots did this week. Perfect Storm Pro, and some Pockets Pattern Pro, and some Equalizer. So I've got the buy only, and I've got the sell only. Okie dokie. So how are we doing? Perfect Storm, the OG, 4 years old, running live, captured 370 pips this week. Perfect Storm Pro, tighter drawdowns, captured 507 pips this week. Pockets Pattern Pro, captured 602 pips this week. Equalizer Pro, let's see here, this is my buy only. Today's up 226 pips. And my sell only today is up 100 pips. All right. So we captured some pips. Not a bad thing. Perfect Storm. 370, 507, 602. 226, 100. Let me add that up. So 100, 226, 602. That's a good week. And 507 and 370. So 1805 in auto trading profits. Again, just that list. I know I ran through that quickly, but I'll put it here in yellow. So I have the Perfect Storm Pro. I have Pockets Pattern Pro, and I'm just trading inefficiencies with that. It goes back to those pockets. Then I have my Equalizer Pro, which is a hedge strategy. I have a buy only, and then Equalizer Pro sell. And that was plus 1805 for the week. Okay, so those are full auto. If anybody's interested, these robots are awesome. I love just kind of spot checking. I also have an update to my Masterflex. We were working on some day trading. It's running live right now. I have an update to the currency strength and an update to the ribbons we talked about last week in class. So we'll have class again today at 1 p.m. Equalizer Pro class today at 2:30, and just do a quick recap and everything. Okie dokie. So, yep, I appreciate that. Thanks, FK. If you do me a favor, we got about 50 people watching live. If you hit the thumbs up button for me, support the channel, get that little algorithm saturated with some likes. That always helps support the channel and get it out there. And yeah, if I have anybody that's new this week checking in, glad you're here. We do this every Monday and Friday, and sprinkle in some videos. Check out my channel. I've got a bunch of trading 101 videos. Trading support resistance, margin, trade size, equity management, adding to winning positions. Just all sorts of stuff. I think there's I don't know, 10, 11 lessons. There's 20, 30 videos. The channel just continues to grow some decent content. Plus, we're doing a lot of live sessions. So appreciate y'all being here. Have a great weekend. Happy Friday. I'll see everybody in class. Equities on Demand students, I'll see you in 3 minutes. And we'll have class this afternoon on Masterflex and Equalizer Pro. So that's it. Thanks a lot, everybody. Happy Friday. See you soon. Thanks. Bye.